All right, baby.
Inspections this morning, though.
Live.
Look at how white I am. Guys, I'm like see-through.
Haven't swam in a long time. I went to laps last night.
Did you like it?
Yeah.
It's a
How
good
come I'm
water.
not seeing
The
yours?
cardio's a lot better than I thought it was.
I'm not surprised. You could go harder on the hikes for sure. You always just wait for me.
It
I
was
feel
good.
like I held you guys back.
It's okay. We're having fun. We're there to be together.
That's true.
One of
There
us-
we go.
One of us has to do a team thing.
What'd you happen?
I know. He commented on my Facebook because I posted pictures and he was like, hey, I was there, and he wasn't in any of them. And I was like, you were so damn far ahead of us, I didn't get any pictures of you.
All right, we're still on the 12-week year. Confronting the truth. Have you ever wondered why sports are so motivating? In fact, not only are they motivating to the players, but also to the spectators. Can you imagine people, fans, coming to watch you work, paying for the privilege to see you in action? One of the key reasons sports are so stimulating is that we keep score. Scorekeeping is at the heart of competition. We keep track of scores, measurements, and stats to determine success and identify areas for improvement. At any point during a sporting event, every player, coach, and fan knows exactly where their team stands. This information provides a base of knowledge to guide decisions that lead to better performance and success. In other words, scorekeeping lets us know if what we're doing is effective. Too often in business, we fail to keep score, and without some objective measure, we cannot know for certain if we are being effective. Just as in athletics, measurement drives the business process. In the 1960s, Frederick Herzberg, an industrial psychologist, set out to determine what motivates people in the workplace. His extensive research identified the top two motivators as achievement and recognition. We contend that the only way to know if you are achieving is through measurement, that is, keeping score. A common misconception is that scoring damages self-esteem, but research indicates the opposite. Measurement builds self-esteem and confidence because it documents progress and achievement. What's funny is our new system here has a score thing that we can utilize if we ever want, like for whatever. Uh-huh. Measure. What's that?
Ruby does?
No, this,
Oh,
our video thing.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Scorekeeping functions as a reality check, providing performance feedback and insight into your effectiveness. Effective measurement removes the emotion from the evaluation process and paints an honest picture of your performance. The data is not concerned with effort or intentions. It simply focuses on outcomes. We all have a tendency from time to time to rationalize lackluster results, but with effective scorekeeping, we are forced to confront the reality of our situation, even when it's uncomfortable. While this can be difficult, the sooner we confront reality, the sooner we can shift our actions towards producing more desirable results. That's what effective measurement does. It demands our attention and causes us to respond more immediately, increasing the likelihood of success down the road. In God we trust, all others must bring data. W. Edwards Deming. Measurement drives the execution process. It is the anchor of reality. Can you imagine the CEO of a large corporation not knowing the numbers? It's no different for you and me, and the CEO of your own life and business, you need to know the numbers. Measurement provides important feedback that allows you to make intelligent decisions. Effective measurement captures both lead and lag indicators that provide comprehensive feedback necessary for informed decision making. Lag indicators, things like income, sales, commission dollars, pounds lost, body fat percentage, overall cholesterol levels, represent the end result that you are striving to achieve. Lead indicators are the activities that produce the end results. For instance, the number of sales calls or referrals are lead indicators in the sales process. While most companies and individuals effectively measure lag indicators, many tend to disregard lead indicators. An effective measurement system will have a combination of complementary lead and lag indicators. The most important lead indicator you have is a measure of your execution. Ultimately, you have greater control over your actions than over your results. Your results are created by your actions. An execution measure indicates whether you did the things you said were most important to achieving your goals. Keep in mind that you started with a vision, a compelling vision of the future that is bigger than the present. Then you establish a set of 12-week goals that are aligned with that vision. For each goal, you developed actions or tactics that describe the steps that you must take to achieve your goals. The element you have the most direct control over is the execution of your tactics. Knowing to what degree you followed through on those tactics is the execution measure. Because your 12-week goals were established in light of your long-term vision, the execution measure also represents progress towards your vision. Having a way to measure your execution is critical because it allows you to pinpoint breakdowns and respond quickly, unlike results which can lag weeks, months, and in some cases years behind your actions. An execution measure provides more immediate feedback, which allows you to make game time adjustments much faster. An execution measure is important for another reason as well. If you're not hitting your goal, you need to know whether it is due to a flaw in plan, content, or in execution, because there is a big difference in how to handle these two breakdowns. A breakdown in plan, content, occurs when strategies and tactics are not effective, while a breakdown in execution occurs when you fail to fully implement the plan, tactics. More than 60% of the time, the breakdown occurs in the execution process, but usually people assume the plan is at fault and change it. This is a major mistake because you don't know if the plan doesn't work if you're not working the plan. Effective measurement will help you pinpoint the source of the breakdown so that you can address it head on. In most cases, unless you are executing at a reasonably high level, there is no need to change or adjust your plan. The great thing is that every time you execute, you get feedback. If your actions don't produce what you expected, you can make the necessary adjustments to your plan. Too often people want to change the plan before they've really executed it. As a general rule, you should rarely change the plan unless you've been effectively completing your plan tactics and it is still not producing. You could have created an awesome plan, but you'll never know unless you actually implement it. So freaking true. What do I keep saying? Over and over and over.
Follow the plan.
Follow the plan. Work the system. The system works. It's a matter of whether you execute the system or not. However, if you are executing at a high level and the results you want are not coming, then it's time to go back and adjust the plan. Physics tell us that for every action there is a reaction, so the good news is that every time you execute, you produce something. It may not be what you expected, but something will happen. This something is market feedback, and it's impossible to effectively adjust your plan without it. Without knowing what tactics you executed, any changes you make will be based purely on guesswork. Truth is the only safe ground to stand on. Elizabeth Cady Stanton. I was just going to say, how can we implement this into us? But the next thing is weekly scorecard. Here we go. The best way to measure your execution is to work from a weekly plan based upon your 12-week plan and evaluate the percentage of tactics completed. For the 12-week year, we've developed a tool called the weekly scorecard. If you've followed the process thus far, you understand that the weekly plan represents the critical activities that you need to accomplish each week to achieve your overall goals. The weekly scorecard then provides an objective measure of how well you executed your weekly plan. With the weekly scorecard, you measure execution, not results. You score yourself on the percentage of activities you complete each week, which makes 100% sense, especially with us. I know we have our 50 checks, but we need to make it a lot more visible for all of us.
It needs to be number of videos, number of calls,
Yep.
number of
Yep.
like true measurement.
Yes. We urge you to strive for excellence, not perfection.
What's the difference?
I would guess sort of the 80-20 rule.
Oh, there's a
right?
huge-
Like,
there's a huge difference.
There's always human error, but like 80 to 90% of the time, if you're getting it right, kind of like with the slight edge where they said, this is different, but they said 97% of the time the rocket was off but
And
they
you have to keep
always
adjusting.
adjust. Yeah.
That's execution.
Yeah.
Perfection is impossible.
Right.
My opinion.
Perfection will create aversion, right? You won't do it because you won't go perfect.
Well, it's not even that. Well, and a perfect example is look at past experiences of people not even starting the process because
They're frozen.
because they can't come up with the perfect.
I do that. Like, I
Right.
totally do that. So I get that big time. And it's like they were saying, you just take the first step.
Yeah.
Then you take the next step. Then you take the next step.
We have found that if you successfully complete 85% of the activities in your weekly plan, then you will most likely achieve your objectives. Remember that your plan contains the top priorities that will add the most value and have the greatest impact. In other words, you only need to be 85% effective on the top priorities to achieve excellence. I think where this is really going to help all of us personally is there's shit that we do every day that is busy shit that doesn't benefit us one single tiny bit. And then there's stuff that if you do it, it's going to 100% benefit. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Stats and
Uh-huh.
Lamadi doesn't like watching me in the weeds.
I know, I hear you lecture him.
I would feel suffocated doing
If
that.
what? Looking at stats and stuff?
Yes.
Really? Do you think it just
They
gets
don't
in
make
your
you
own
jack
head?
doo-doo. That's not going to help you get business. It's going to make you smarter, but it's not going to help you get business.
I think it's the way you use them. So then you do the videos and talk about the stats, or you inform
Yeah, but what
your
I'm talking
friends.
about, and don't take this wrong, but he can sit on that computer and look at house after house after house after house after house after house after house. Me, I lose interest real fast. But doing that doesn't make you money.
I need to be talking to people. Yeah.
That's just like you said, that's in the weeds stuff that, yes, is it going to make you more knowledgeable about when you're talking to people? But dude, you can have all that knowledge in the world, but if you're not talking to people, what does it matter?
It's finding the balance.
Well, it is finding the balance, but what this is talking about and here's the difference between perfection and execution. Execution means that you're doing something that is going to create value to what is going on and what you're trying to accomplish.
On the path you're trying to go on.
Exactly. It
Yeah.
is a major step moving forward to reach your goals, to do what it is that you're trying to achieve. I mean, let's break it all down. It's really simple. Why are we doing what we're doing?
To make money.
To
and
make
help
money, to
people.
get clients to sell homes.
Yeah.
There's no other reason. On a business sense.
Well, it's like George was saying, he was talking about Brian Burnett, and he was saying, you know, he's like, does so many, like, I think, was it last year, 300 homes or something
Mhm.
like that? And he was saying, there's so many times he's sent people to like just go shadow him, and none of them are like impressed, meaning they're like, well, he's not doing anything huge, but it's because he's so consistent. Like, a lot of agents
That's where
think
we
it's
need to get.
boring or think whatever, you know what I mean? And it's not anything like magical. He doesn't have some magical formula. He's just so
Like,
consistent.
We need to be more visual as a group and hold each other accountable as a group on the steps and the things that we should be doing on a weekly and a daily basis.
Yeah.
Like, we need to have something, whether it's if we sit here every morning and bring up all the stats on the TV and go over the stats and ring the bell and talk about it, and, you know, did you make your calls? Did you write your letters? Did you do this? Did you do that? Did you do your reviews? I mean, it's because I can tell you honestly, I do a lot of it, but I don't do all of it.
And you get a lot of business, so imagine like if you were doing all
Exactly.
that, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
The word of caution, scorekeeping is not for the faint of heart.
Well, I think you have to be careful not to turn it into shame, right? Because
I agree.
then you're shutting people down.
I agree. I 100%
It's
agree.
gotta be
I don't
like
want our
a
office to be of
healthy
where people don't
Not
want to go
being-
to the meeting because they're going to be embarrassed. That's not
Yeah.
what it's about.
Yeah.
It's about us being a group and us holding each other accountable and us standing each other up,
Well, I
not
think-
knocking each other down.
I think the more
I
we
refuse to let our
yeah.
team knock each other down.
I think the more we celebrate the wins, the more people want to step up too.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
I agree.
Instead of like
I agree.
putting it down.
There will be times when you don't execute well and score poorly. People often drop out when they reach this point because they lack the courage to face the reality of their actions. Instead of scoring their performance, let's distract themselves with other things that seem important in the moment. With the 12-week year,
Good at pointed looks.
well, that's because he asked me to hold him accountable.
Yep.
So I'm going to.
Yeah.
With the 12-week year, there is nowhere to hide. It shines a light on where you are performing and where you are not. All of us from time to time will struggle to execute. The 12-week year system forces you to confront your lack of execution, and it's uncomfortable. But it is the very best thing, it is the very thing that is required if you're going to perform at your best. We call this discomfort productive tension. Productive tension is the uncomfortable feeling you get when you're not doing the things you know you need to do. Our natural inclination when confronted with discomfort is to resolve it. An effort to do this, people generally go one of two ways. The easy way out is to simply stop using the system and turn off the light that is shining on your performance breakdowns. Typically, this takes the form of passive resistance and you put off scoring your week and tell yourself that you'll get to it later, but later never comes. The other way is to use productive tension as a catalyst for change. Instead of responding to the discomfort by bailing out, high achievers use the tension as an impetus to move forward. If you decide that quitting is not an option, then the discomfort of productive tension will eventually compel you to take action on your tactics. This encourages you to move forward by executing your plan. Even with a weekly score of 65 to 70%, you will do well if you stay in the game. You won't accomplish what you are capable of, but you will do well. It's important to remember that the process is not about being perfect. That's why perfection is hugely different than execution, but rather about getting better and better. Measurement drives the process. Effective scorekeeping is essential if you want to execute well and perform at your best. Take time to establish a set of key measures that include lead and lag indicators, and most importantly, be sure to score your execution. Have the courage to measure your performance.
Okay, so what would
Say it again.
a couple things that kind of came to my mind as measures, but for sure it's the number of actual conversations.
Okay.
So conversations,
Conversations,
videos,
videos, mails, either
letters,
letters or letters, period.
thank you notes.
Yeah, I mean, one and the same.
Okay, but how about new additions to our top 50?
Majorly important.
Like weekly measurement of that.
I agree.
So we're constantly building.
Yep. Because once we get that top 50, then we're moving on to your VIP 100. Because you need that. I'm just telling you from my experience, you need that because you're going to be altering what's going on in your VIP 50 as opposed to your VIP 100. And I mean, let's face it, our VIP 50 is that is the core of our business.
I would dare say better than half mine are non-responsive.
Exactly.
So I've got to
constantly-
I'm gonna have a direct conversation. Like, do you want this, or do you want to be part of it? No, yes.
Yep.
It's okay.
I think it's fair.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, I'm still just trying to get to that 50. I'm so close, but
What's stopping you?
it's more just getting enough conversations. So getting in front of people. A lot of people I call during the day are working, so it's like trying to find a time, whether it's at the salon or meeting up. Or
So let's break this down even more.
Face to faces.
Mm-hmm.
Since this really has nothing to do, should I
Yeah.
be done? Okay.